Welcome to the Motormouth YouTube channel. I'm Zach.
I'm Andrea.
And we do these kinds of top 5 lists, top 10 lists throughout the year. And recently, we did one on the top 5 compact SUVs. And we chose our top 5 based on what?
Ones that had an electrified option definitely made our list. We got some requests saying, can you just do gas models? We're not really interested yet in an electrified vehicle. Fair enough. So here we are, strictly gas models, a top 5 for crossovers in the non-luxury category.
We're doing it slightly differently. We're not going from 5 to number 1. We're picking our top 5 gasoline compact SUVs, and we're going to list them to you alphabetically. And the reason we're doing this is we're going to go through the high and low points of each and who they might actually be for. So somebody that lives in an area that gets a lot of snow, a certain vehicle might be a great idea. Somebody that lives in a warmer climate, it might be another vehicle. So that's how we're going to do it.
And I also think driving dynamics are a big factor, especially for me. And so I would pick something that is really fun to drive, where somebody might be more interested in space.
All right, so let's do it. And afterwards, we're going to have some honorable mentions. So here's our top 5.
And in alphabetical order, our first pick is the Kia Sportage.
South of the border, it's marketed as the Sportage. It's the same vehicle. And there's a lot of reasons why we chose this vehicle. So let's get into what's under the hood.
A 2.5-liter 4-cylinder with an 8-speed automatic transmission. It has 187 horsepower and 178 pound-feet of torque. Front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive options are available.
Now, a lot of people focus on the design and the features, but there are some people that focus on the mechanics. And one thing about this product that is out of step with some of the others that will be on our list is the fact it comes with a conventional automatic transmission, an 8-speed. Other vehicles have what are called continuously variable transmissions, and this traditional approach appeals to a lot of people.
And CVTs, we've got one in our Honda Civic. We actually quite like it. Some are much better than others, so don't necessarily knock a CVT. But if you prefer an automatic transmission, you get it in this Kia.
Okay, so positives for this vehicle. For me, I think it is the interior layout is beautiful. In fact, it borders on what I would consider the look of a premium car.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you've got the availability of larger screens, whether it's a digital driver display or the larger touch screen. And just the interior just feels more upscale. I also like the way it handles. It's smooth. It has a quiet cabin. I mean, some of the vehicles in this class get a little bit louder on the highway.
Yeah, and that's why with the electrified versions we mentioned in our other video, a lot of that is negated because you're using electricity, but gas engines can be noisy. This product's very good. The other thing is it's one of the biggest in this class.
It is.
You get a lot of rear seat legroom and a large cargo area. So if you're looking for a family hauler gasoline that fits for a lot of people, this is definitely on the list.
And also the tech. It's very good in here, and it has some extra features like a panoramic sunroof and ventilated front seats, heated rear seats, all the extras that you might want.
All right, on the downside, some people just don't groove with the new look of the Kia Sportage. It is kind of funky looking and it's futuristic. It's been out for a while now. The more I see it, the more I'm comfortable with it.
I like it a lot. It is a futuristic look. And those boomerang style daytime running lights, some people just don't like them. And then in the interior, there is quite a bit of piano black, and some are not always interested in that shiny gloss black.
Also, there is a control panel, and what it does is it toggles between the climate control settings and also the entertainment settings. So it's one panel, you touch it, and it toggles back and forth. But we found out a neat trick recently. We were on a Kia program.
Yeah, if you just want to have one panel, say you just want your infotainment, you just hold it for 3 seconds and it just reverts back every time. So you get in your vehicle and it's always going to be on the infotainment instead of on the heat. And I think that will make it a lot easier for people.
And the reason for this is you're driving along, you hear a song on the radio you like, you turn up the knob and you're turning up the heat instead of the volume. With this setting, you can always just turn up the volume.
Okay, let's get into the specs, pricing, and fuel economy.
We'll do pricing for the US in a moment. We'll start with Canada. You can pause this screen at any time to look at all the numbers. The base front-wheel drive in Canada is roughly $28,500, and it goes all the way up to the top trim. The X-Line Limited is roughly $41,500. Here are the numbers for the United States. The base front-wheel drive model in the US is just under $26,000, and the most expensive X Pro Prestige all-wheel drive is just under $37,000.
Here's the fuel economy: 10.4 liters per 100 kilometers in the city, 8.5 on the highway. That's 23 miles per gallon city, 28 miles per gallon highway. Another positive for Kia is that it offers a longer warranty of 5 years or 100,000 kilometers, 60,000 miles.
So our next vehicle, we were kind of waffling on whether it would actually make our top 5 because it has some strong positives. It's a brand new vehicle, just came into the marketplace, but there are some big negatives as well. What is it?
The Honda CR-V. It's brand new and it offers a lot of space.
This video is brought to you by Car Cost Canada. Get the dealer's cost, list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. Use the promo code Motormouth to become an expert member and get extra searches. The link is in the description below.
Carried over from the last model is the 1.5-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder matched to a CVT. It has 190 horsepower and 179 pound-feet of torque. Front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive options are available.
So the positives of the CR-V. This vehicle is very well designed. I've always called the CR-V kind of like the Swiss Army knife of utility vehicles. It does everything well. It doesn't excel in any one area. It's roomy. It's got good space in the back, a large cargo area. It's simply laid out, and it's got the new interior that we really like from Honda. All that stuff is good.
Yeah, I think so too. I like the seating position. It's a very comfortable drive. It's quite smooth. The cabin remains quiet. Honda has updated the CVT to reduce noise and vibration. You can really see that there's some good improvements, and that's why it's on our list. But there are a lot of negatives, and one is the price in Canada.
Yeah, they jacked the price up for this new model, and Honda's doing this for all their new entries into the marketplace, whether it's the HR-V, the Civic, or this. The prices have gone up anywhere from $3,000 to $7,000 in Canada, more expensive than many of its competitors on this list. In the United States, you do pay a Honda premium, but it's not as high, is it?
It's more reasonable. I can see why you would buy it in the US. You might say, I like this space. It's a Honda. There's some reliability. The brand's been around for a long time. But when you start to look at the features that it's missing, even on the top trim, and the top trim in price in Canada is very competitive with the others, but it's missing features like ventilated front seats, a panoramic sunroof, and the surround view monitor. And I think that's where it's disappointing, is that Honda had the opportunity. They came out with a brand new CR-V, but you're missing stuff that people want.
And the other thing is the in-dash technology. It's very important to a lot of people. A lot of people write and say, I don't really care about that stuff, but a lot of other people do.
Yeah.
So we just showed you the Kia product with the beautiful big dual panel screens, and then you focus in on the Honda, and it's got a 7-inch infotainment screen. Our Honda Civic is a 2017 with a 7-inch screen.
Yeah.
This is like old looking technology in a brand new vehicle, which is a shame because it drives very well. It's very smooth and quiet. The actual on-road dynamics are very polished. They missed an opportunity here. So why is it on our list? Well, because it's a Honda, and some people will just buy it because of that.
And I just want to add that the top trim does come with a larger touchscreen. It's 9 inches, and I do applaud them for giving consumers wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, especially people who are keeping their vehicle for a long period of time. This feature has become more and more important to many.
All right, let's get into all the pricing and the fuel economy.
We'll start with Canadian pricing first, and then we'll move on to the US. The base trim starts at just over $34,500, and the top trim is just over $43,000. In the US, the base trim starts at just over $31,000, and the top trim is just over $35,000.
Here's the fuel economy: 9.1 liters per 100 kilometers city, 7.6 on the highway. That's 27 miles per gallon city, 32 miles per gallon highway.
Honda offers a warranty of 3 years or 60,000 kilometers, 36,000 miles.
Okay, so the first one was the Kia. That's a good all-rounder family vehicle. The CR-V, same kind of thing. The next vehicle made it on our list because it's really targeted at people that maybe want to have a little bit more fun. They want a vehicle, like Andrea, that handles well, has available higher output engine and more. What is it, Andrea?
The Mazda CX-5, it is a favorite of mine.
If you're American, that's a Mazda CX-5.
One big difference with this vehicle compared to the competitors is that it has 2 powertrain options and both standard all-wheel drive. The base engine is a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder with a 6-speed automatic transmission, 187 horsepower and 186 pound-feet of torque. There's a turbocharged variant of this engine with 256 horsepower and 320 pound-feet of torque on premium fuel. If you use regular fuel, you'll get a little less power, 227 horsepower and 310 pound-feet of torque.
All right, before we get into the positives and negatives of the CX-5, stick around after we've done our top 5 because we do have some honorable mentions. Okay, back to the Mazda. This product, as I mentioned in the intro, is more of a driver's car.
Yep.
It has a polished upscale feel. Even the base 2.5 liter delivers the goods, but if you get that turbo, you're entering almost luxury or premium category kind of feel.
The CX-5 gets me so excited. Every time I get in one, I love the way it handles, the heavier steering, the firmer suspension. It really is engaging. It's fun to drive, and I just love it.
It's also a little bit smaller than much of the competition, so it's a little bit more nimble. The 2.5 liter, as I mentioned, is great. The turbo, maybe some might feel is kind of overkill.
Yeah.
Plus, you can put regular fuel in it. You can put premium fuel in it. It's a little bit more expensive to run. That's a factor with high fuel prices right now. Then you turn your attention to the inside, and it, just like the engine, more of an upscale feel. The interior has the same kind of vibe with the materials and the layout that look almost premium.
Yeah, that top trim with the Napa leather interior is really beautiful. There's very little hard plastic in it. Of course, you're going to see some in this class, but it really is an elevated interior that offers a lot of luxury.
But it's not perfect. One of the things is it is a bit smaller. The back seat, if you look at the measurements online, it looks like it's got the same kind of space as the competition. Take it from us, it does not. I'm not sure how they measure it there at head office, but we just are here to tell you it's not the biggest in this class. So if it's a big vehicle you're looking for, this might not be for you.
Yeah, we have viewers who own a CX-5. They do put car seats back there, but it is tight. There are a few things that people don't like about the CX-5. The things that I like the firmer suspension and the heavier steering. Some just find that it's too heavy for their liking. The seats aren't as comfortable. They're a little bit firmer. And also, there is no touchscreen option in this vehicle.
So that's why in this top 5, we didn't come with a 5 to a number 1, because this style of vehicle might be just perfect for some drivers and then just not an option for others. That's why we've done it this way. So let's get into the fuel economy and the pricing.
In Canada, the CX-5 starts at just over $31,000, and the top signature trim is just over $44,000. In the U.S., it starts at just over $26,500, and the top trim is just over $39,500.
Here's the fuel economy for the base 4-cylinder. 9.9 liters per 100 kilometers city, 7.9 on the highway. That's 24 miles per gallon city, 30 miles per gallon highway. If you opt for the 2.5-liter turbo, the fuel economy is 10.8 liters per 100 kilometers city, 8.7 on the highway. That's 22 miles per gallon city, 27 miles per gallon highway.
The warranty is 3 years or 60,000 kilometers, 36,000 miles.
So that's kind of your sporty vibe, fun to drive, firmer everything.
Yeah.
Now, if you live somewhere where you have inclement weather and you want to have a vehicle that's a monster in the snow and you want a vehicle that is easy to live with, get everybody in and out, big windows and doors, well, it is what, Andrea?
The Subaru Forester.
Powering the Subaru Forester is a Boxster-style 2.5-liter 4-cylinder matched to a CVT. It has 182 horsepower and 176 pound-feet of torque and comes standard with all-wheel drive.
Also, all Subaru crossovers come with 220 millimeters of ground clearance.
Yeah.
So if you live somewhere where you get deep snow, these vehicles are incredibly popular in northern states. You see them when you go to places like Vermont, Oregon, Washington State, and then here in Canada, where we do get real winter, they're immensely popular.
Yeah, and I like that Subaru has added a wilderness model with some off-road capability if that's something that you're looking for your weekend adventures. There are a lot of options here, but I think the biggest positive is the space. You know, whether it's in the second row or cargo capacity and just the comfort level of the vehicle.
And it's really a logical vehicle. It's not really a passion kind of purchase. It's more up here. It's like, I need a vehicle that does everything well. I want to get kids and people in and out. The doors are huge.
Yeah.
The windows, the outward visibility is the best in all of the vehicles we're going to talk about. So it has a lot of great attributes. And it's not the best looking of the bunch, and there's that.
And the engine, it would be nice to have a turbocharged engine option like the Subaru Outback has. It is a little bit sluggish on the highway. It gets a little bit louder. All of those things that some may not love, but in the city, wow, it's a great handling crossover. In Canada, the Forester starts at just under $31,000 and the top Premier trim is just over $41,500. In the US, it starts at just over $26,000 and the top touring model is just under $36,500.
Here's the fuel economy. 9 liters per 100 kilometers city, 7.2 on the highway. That's 26 miles per gallon city, 33 miles per gallon highway.
Subaru offers a warranty of 3 years or 60,000 kilometers, 36,000 miles.
And the reason why Andrea brings up the fact that turbo isn't available, because it used to be available in the Forester and then they got rid of it, which is disappointing. All right. You could argue that this could be a top pick. As we mentioned, we're not rating them from 5 to number 1, but this is the best selling compact crossover SUV period in North America. What is it, Andrea?
The Toyota RAV4. It is a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder paired to an 8-speed automatic transmission, 203 horsepower and 184 pound-feet of torque. Standard all-wheel drive for 2023 in Canada, but in the US, front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive options are still available.
So the number 1 positive, Andrea, is what's on the steering wheel and on the front. It's a Toyota.
Yeah.
And Toyota has built up a reputation for reliability, durability, and resale value, and they have earned it. Their vehicles continue to be at the top of quality studies, and they continue to be highly sought after when they go into the used market, and it's a Toyota. That's the number 1 positive.
And absolutely, it's also very comfortable to drive, especially in the city. I mean, there's the power feels sufficient enough. I also think there's some great changes coming for 2023 with an available larger touchscreen, which I think Toyota needed to add, and standard wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, another important feature for many.
And an 8-speed automatic transmission, no CVT. And of all of the vehicles, for gasoline models, this one gets the best fuel economy.
Yeah.
Then we turn our attention to things that Toyota could work on. And for me, it all comes down to the interior. It looks, in my opinion, a bit industrial.
Yeah.
It doesn't look very it's comfortable, but it doesn't feel warm and inviting. It's just there.
Yeah, I think that they could do a better job to modernize it. It just doesn't seem to keep up with vehicles such as the Sportage and then the quality of the interior of the CX-5, let's say. I also find that this engine gets really quite loud, louder than I expected for this class, right? And I also like the price point of the RAV4. You know, there's so many different trims that there's an affordable option for many and different budgets. If you can afford that top trim, great. But if you want something that has a little bit less, it's also within your budget.
It's very practical, industrial, we call the dashboard, but the rear seats and the cargo area, very competent, in the same kind of category as the CR-V, as a kind of a Swiss Army knife. It does everything well. It doesn't excel at anything other than being a Toyota, which is important. But there you go. You want to do the pricing?
Sure. In Canada, it starts at just over $32,000, and the top limited trim is just over $43,500. In the US, it starts at just over $27,500, and the top limited trim is just over $35,500.
Here's the fuel economy: 8.8 liters per 100 kilometers city, 7.1 on the highway. An impressive 27 miles per gallon in the city, 33 miles per gallon on the highway.
Toyota offers a warranty of 3 years or 60,000 kilometers, 36,000 miles.
So the RAV4 easily in this group is the best seller. Toyota is an absolute juggernaut with the RAV4. As we mentioned, it's available with a hybrid. It's also available with a plug-in hybrid. We're focusing on the gas. Even the gas model is a top seller.
We'd love to know what your picks are, whether you can narrow it down and you've got your number one pick. Let us know. Type below. Let's get into our honorable mentions.
Our honorable mentions, also in alphabetical order. Up first is the Ford Escape, and it just received a facelift, and we saw it at the LA Auto Show, and it looks much better. All models are getting an update from the Sync 3 to the Sync 4 system. You get a larger touchscreen available with a digital driver display. We can't wait to drive this new model.
Our next honorable mention goes to the Hyundai Tucson. It didn't make our list because the gas model in Canada is missing a fair amount of features, like a power tailgate, driver's seat memory, no heated rear seats or ventilated front seats, or a power passenger seat. You actually have to move up to the hybrid or the plug-in hybrid models to get them. In the US, it's very different. A lot of these features are included on the top trim of the gas model, so it still might be a great option for you.
Next up is the Nissan Rogue. We are big fans of the Rogue because it has a spacious cabin, an upscale interior on the top trims, and it's comfortable to drive. Plus, there's also a brand new engine that makes this vehicle dynamic to drive. It's a 1.5-liter turbocharged 3-cylinder engine with variable compression technology. The reason it didn't make our top 5 list is this is a highly technical engine. It's brand new in the marketplace, and it has unknown reliability.
So there's our top 5 non-luxury gas model crossovers. We hope you enjoyed it.
All right, we already did our top 5 overall, but that included hybrids and plug-in hybrids.
Yeah.
And a lot of the vehicles made it on that list because they offer advanced technology. So the card is up there. You can click on that at any time. What else do they need to do, Andrea?
Well, you got to subscribe, hit that notification bell. We put out a lot of unique content each week, and we'd love you to watch it all. And if you're interested, follow along on Instagram at Motormouth_Andrea. I put out a sneak peek of what's coming up on the channel each week.
All right, we'll see you in the next one.
This video is brought to you by Car Cost Canada. Get the dealer's cost, list of rebates, plus discounted interest rates. Use the promo code Motormouth to become an expert member and get extra searches. The link is in the description below.